Testing, testing, 1, 2. Mic check, all in the green. Welcome, welcome. Tie-side Shadow Games report. Hopping into Halo Reach again tonight for part 2. You know me, I love all of my Halo games, all of my first-person shooters. But first, before we get into the game, before I lose my voice too, I'm gonna drink me some water, and we're gonna talk about some news. Good old agua. Headphones ready. Hope everyone's having a beautiful summer. Beautiful, happy summer. I know I am. Kind of wish things would have panned out a little bit differently, but I don't know. I'm gonna start redirecting things towards my most preferred outcome. Stop making weird little stupid decisions here and there. Stop wasting my time on people that don't matter. All these weird people that try to get under your skin for no reason. It's just kind of like, bro, you don't have to like me. Just go away. You know, I don't care. I mean, I try to be likable, but I know I'm not gonna make everybody happy. I try to do what I can. But before I ramble too much, let's go ahead and hop out of this screen. Let's talk about some news. Remember, I'm going to try to keep my news under 30 minutes, and then we're going to jump into the game. Even whenever I see it's past 30 minutes, I'm going to be like, let's get out of this. Let's hop into the game. It's taking too much time. Biden reaffirms 2024 run amid party... I forgot what... Party support. Which he's losing support. A lot of speculation whether he'll even last the next 10 days of criticism. But we'll have to see. Biden's big boy press conference sparks criticism. The White House announced that President Joe Biden will hold a press conference referred to as a big boy press conference, which has been met with significant criticism and mockery on social media. Many users expressed concerns about Biden's ability to handle a press conference effectively and questioned the appropriateness of the term big boy, interpreting it as condescending or belittling. I also think it's very close to the reference of the big guy. So I think that's kind of interesting. Got the big boy or big guy. Anyways, Colin Ruggs says just in, both Karine Jean-Pierre and John Kirby referred to President Biden's upcoming press conference as a big boy press conference. Remarkable. This week, President Biden will hold a press conference, a big boy press conference. Don't take too long.
After that, the president will hold a press conference. I guess a big boy press conference is what we're calling it, and take some questions from y'all.
This week, President Biden will speak to national labor leaders of AFL-CIO, host the NATO summit to show the unprecedented strength of our alliance, hold a press conference, a big boy press conference, according to Justin Sink from Bloomberg.
After that, the president will hold a press conference. I guess a big boy press conference is what we're calling it.
He seemed as surprised as anybody to read that. He's like, a big boy press conference? Whoever typed that? Mayor links Chicago gun violence to Nixon era. Now, how are you going to get that from that? Over the July 4th weekend in Chicago, more than 100 people were shot. With 19 fatalities reported, Mayor Brandon Johnson attributed the violence to historical factors, specifically mentioning the missed opportunity to address root causes 60 years ago, which he linked to the presidency of Richard Nixon. What better way to accept responsibility during the current time period than to blame who was in charge 60 years ago? And yeah, In Wokeness basically says the same thing I just said. Holy schlit. Over 100 people were shot in Chicago over the July 4th weekend. Mayor Johnson is blaming it on ... Nixon. I would too, if I was him. Blame all the right people, man. All the white people.
Boys between the ages of 10 and 19 being either victims or the perpetrators. So, yeah, it is personal. Black death has been
Personal.
accepted in this country for a very long time.
Because I was born under Nixon.
We had a chance 60 years ago to get at the root causes. And
That you gonna tell me?
mocked President Johnson. And we ended up with Richard Nixon. I'm going to work hard every day to transform this city. That's what it takes to build a better, stronger, safer Chicago. I need everybody to step up. So we cut off the pipeline of boys between the ages of 10.
Share that real quick. I read earlier that the RNC accepts major portions of the Trump administration's agenda. Oh yeah, which reminds me. Let's talk about the left a little bit real quick. Good old lefties. Thank you for all the people that have been following on X here lately. It's nice to see quite a bit more followers. Let's see, covered that yesterday. Yeah, right here. And Wokeness also says the leftist accidentally creates the greatest Trump ad ever by listing Agenda 47. Note who's saying it, what she looks like. Note the drawn-on eyebrows.
And here are the first 15.
How these people end up being very narcissistic is beyond me. I mean, they're supposedly a victim class half the time. I'm actually assuming quite a lot. I mean, she just looks gay to me. I mean, I assume that she's gay, and I'm probably right, because we can base certain things off of looks. I won't say you can get everything, because a lot of people get me particularly wrong. They also get it wrong whenever I'm defending myself. Somehow it will become me becoming the attacker. I see that a lot with people, and I realize it's from intimidation of me. Like, it's just like a defense mechanism where they just put the strongest person in the room as some form of threat, which I'm not saying I'm always the strongest person in the room, but you can just tell whenever certain people will form certain oppositions against certain people, even if they're right. And I'll notice that quite a bit, how I guess sometimes I'll argue in certain favor of certain things and give my explanation and evidence for why I believe those certain things, and these people still, say that I'm wrong no matter how much I'm right. So, it doesn't really matter how much you're right with certain types of people. But,
Promises he has made if he is
believe your lying eyes, right?
reelected. You may have heard of Project 2025, but this is from Agenda 47, and you can read all of these on his website. First, he promises that he will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in history. He will also ask for the death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. He will close the Department of Education, and here are the first 15 promises he has made if he is reelected. You may have heard of Project 2025, but this is from Agenda 47, and you can read all of these on his website. First, he promises that he will carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in history. He will also ask for the death sentence for anyone convicted of human trafficking. He will close the Department of Education and return all education standards to the states to decide. He will put prayer back into school, and he will criminalize any race-based advantage programs. He will end the Affordable Care Act. He will ban gender-affirming care for adults and children, and he will ban any federal dollars from going towards gender-affirming care, which means anyone with government-provided health care will no longer be able to access gender-affirming care except for Viagra and Cialis. Those will still be available. He will propose a constitutional amendment that gives a term limit to Congress. He will deploy the Department of Justice to investigate the Biden crime family and any of his adversaries or political rivals. He will immediately pardon all of the January 6thers, and he will create a task force to investigate anyone who arrested, charged, or imprisoned a January 6er. He will increase the penalties for offenders, strengthen immunity for police officers, and deploy the National Guard to patrol woke cities. On day one, he will reassess